Hi everyone, this video is extremely important for everyone out there who doesn't really know much but wants to, but is actually confused about what he should be eating, the diet which he should be following in order to stay fit and healthy without having to go overboard, such as preparing some exotic meals which are even difficult to pronounce, having to pay a lot of money, or even compromising in taste. The entire diet would be Indian style and can be prepared by anyone who wants to stay fit and healthy. I would also be suggesting a few tips here and there through the entire video so as to help you in your specific fitness goals. Welcome to Puff Pong. Before we get started, I would like to say one thing. Whenever you eat, it should always be slow and should be mindful eating without any disturbances so that you can get the most out of your meal. So without any further delay, let's get started. So the very first meal of the day is the breakfast, which, as I had already stated in my previous video, should be the most important meal of the day and also should be the most nutritious meal of the day so that you stay energized and active through the entire day until your next meal, which is the lunch. Try to never miss out on your breakfast. I will be presenting here a few options for every type of meal, which is the breakfast, lunch or dinner. Starting with the very first option for breakfast, it is the oatmeal. Oatmeal is the most simplest breakfast option one can ever have, without having to spend a lot of time into its preparation, while also simultaneously gaining some nutrition out of it. This is especially good for those people who are always in a hurry to go to work in the morning. Simply take half a bowl of oats, put some milk into it, slice a banana and add into it. If you have a sweet tooth, you can put some honey also into it, but not refined sugar. Refined sugar is absolutely not good for your health. If you also want to have it more fulfilling, you can also add some cashew nuts, raisins or almonds, basically any kind of dry fruit. And that's it. Your yummy and healthy oatmeal is ready. Oats are actually rich in complex carbohydrates, proteins, fibers and also some vitamins and minerals which can help you stay full for longer periods of time, which consequently helps you in your weight loss journey. Bananas are good sources of carbohydrates which can help you increase your glycogen stores, which are absolutely necessary to give you energy. Dry fruits are rich in carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins and minerals and also some healthy unsaturated fats which are absolutely necessary for our body. See, I have already stated breakfast should be the most nutritious meal of the day and it should contain all kinds of nutrients, but especially one particular nutrient should definitely be there, which are the proteins. Be it any kind of fitness goal, whether you want to lose fat or build muscle or simply want to stay fit, you definitely need those proteins. So if you want to add some protein into your breakfast, then simply boil 2 eggs, take the yolk part out because it is only the fat containing part of an egg, and simply have those egg whites. There you go with your protein rich breakfast. The second breakfast option is even more simpler. Just take some brown rice as per your need, add some water to it and just boil it. Once it gets boiled, just add some jaggery powder to it and that's it, your breakfast is ready. To add some more taste and variety to it, you can add any kind of seasonal fruit along with it. Remember, always have any kind of fruit only during your breakfast. I have recommended here brown rice instead of the regular white rice because brown rice is much more richer in nutrients compared to white rice. They almost are very much similar except that in case of white rice, 2 extra layers are removed, which is not the case in case of brown rice. And that's why brown rice retains some of the nutrients, vitamins and minerals which are not present in the general white rice. Brown rice and white rice, they both are similar in terms of calories and carbohydrates. But in terms of all other nutrients and vitamins and minerals, brown rice is much more richer than white rice. It is also rich in fibers which can help you lose that unnecessary weight. Now, I have also recommended here jaggery powder for sweetening purpose instead of the regular refined sugar, because I have already stated previously, refined sugar should completely be avoided in any case. You should definitely not have this refined sugar at any cost. It is just not good for your health. If possible, always try to replace this sugar with some natural sweetening agents such as natural fruit juices, honey, or as I have already stated, jaggery. Now, if you happen to be the most busiest person in this world, or you are in some kind of hurry in one of those busier days, then the most simplest breakfast which you can have is just have a glass of milk, 2 bananas and dry fruits. That's it. This is the most simplest breakfast one can ever have while also getting some nutrition out of it. Other than this, you can also go for the general options which we generally have in our regular days depending on your geographical location. Such as for North Indians, you can have roti with sabzi or even parathas in some days. For South Indians, you can have idli with chutney or uttapam or even better upma. But always remember to add some proteins in your breakfast in the form of some egg burji or paneer burji if you are a vegetarian. Now some people will say parathas aren't good, they are so oily, galat bol raha hai tu to pata hai yaar. This brings me to the most important point through this entire video. Don't really stress so much into thinking what you are eating, into your macros calculations, how much calories you are intaking and stuff like that. This is so much brain draining. इतना मत सोचो यार, भगवान ने तीन ही चीज दी है एंजॉय करने को, खाना, सोना और इसमें भी इतना सोचने लगे तो कैसे होगा? If I had to give you one simple diet mantra, it would be if it's prepared at your home, it's good for you. अब मैगी बना के खाने लगे हैं, खा सकते हो, but हमेशा नहीं. Another important point which I would like to highlight here is that don't try to follow the Western culture blindly by grabbing a piece of burger or sandwich while going to your work. These processed foods are absolutely not good for you and will affect your health in the long run. The next important meal of the day is the lunch. Ideally, the time between your breakfast and your lunch should be around 4 to 5 hours, but it's natural to feel hungry between these. In such cases, always have some water and any seasonal fruit with you. This can help you curb your hunger. Before we jump into our healthy lunch options, let's talk a little about one of the most important macronutrients, the proteins. As I have already said before, irrespective of your particular fitness goal, whether it is fat loss or muscle building or simply to maintain the already achieved muscle mass, your protein intake should be slightly higher than usual. This protein should come from a variety of sources so that your body doesn't get used to one particular source. So, if you are a non-vegetarian person, then congratulations, you have ample options to choose from. But if you are a vegetarian person, then don't worry, you have fewer options but not zero. You can choose from dal, paneer, nuts, soy, peanut butter and so many other options around. Paneer being the best option for you because of course it can be included in so many different recipes. But if you still feel your protein intake is not sufficient, then you can go for those protein supplements available in the markets. Now, right now at this point of time, I cannot recommend any particular type of protein supplement for you because I'm still in talks with a certified nutritionist friend of mine. So I guess I'll talk about in detail about these protein supplements in some other video. If you are taking a protein rich diet, always remember to keep yourself hydrated throughout the day. Otherwise, it could pose more problems than doing good to you. Now, coming to lunch, this is also another very important meal of the day and you should try to pack all the nutrients in this meal as well. But specific attention should be given to proteins. Your regular lunch, which consists of dal or roti and with some other kind of curries such as a chicken curry or fish curry or egg or omelette along with some vegetable based curry, that will also do. Dal and your curry are very good sources of proteins and roti is a very good source of complex carbohydrate which can help you stay filled up and can also give you enough energy for the rest of the day along with some other dietary fibers as well. Another healthy lunch option would be to simply replace your roti with some brown rice and while keeping the entire plate same. You can also add in your lunch some carrots, cucumber or beetroot which are actually rich in fibers and complex carbohydrates and are also completely water based. Now here I will try to talk about one misconception about carbohydrates. Many sources actually say you should not be adding carbohydrates in your diet or you should be minimizing to a very low level. Why? Let's talk about this. See, carbs are equally important for your body just like proteins. There's a reason it is called a nutrient or actually a macronutrient. It's just that depending upon your fitness goal, the amount of carbs which you are intaking will vary. If your goal is to build some muscles or to put on some weight and you are a physically active person, then you definitely need those carbs. Actually, the complex carbs. Carbohydrates can be divided into three constituents: starch, sugar and fiber, of which sugar is actually simple carbohydrates and starch and fibers are actually complex carbohydrates. You don't need the simple carbohydrates, you actually need those complex carbohydrates. If you cut your carbs too low down and only keep stuffing yourself with proteins, then the amount of energy that your body requires to perform day-to-day activities and even to perform your workouts, that energy will be taken up from that extra protein which you just stuffed yourself with. So basically it all remains the same. So there has to be a balance between both. Now, if your fitness goal is to lose some fats, remember, it's not about losing weight, it's about losing that fat which is making up for that extra weight. Then your carbohydrate intake should be slightly lesser, but not zero. Simple lifestyle changes like avoiding processed foods, packaged foods, sodas, drinks, etc. would help you cut it down. But if you want to cut it even more down, then gradually, not suddenly, minimize the number of rotis or the amount of rice which you are intaking during a lunch or dinner. Now I am talking about dinner here also along with lunch, because in most Indian households, lunch and dinner are pretty much the same with some minor changes like change in dal or the sabji which you have taken in your lunch. The major difference between a lunch and dinner should be that your dinner should be very light, because our body's digestion capacity gets reduced after sunset. So a big fat dinner would end you up with some indigestion in the next morning. So always try to keep it light. Evening time between a lunch and a dinner is the snacking time, and during this time we forget about everything and go for those unhealthy options. Those unhealthy options can easily be replaced by some healthy ones, such as you can take a brown bread or even some roti, apply some peanut butter over it, add some slices of bananas, and that's it. Your healthy snack is ready. Or you can go for another option as well. You can take some sprouts, add some tomatoes, onions, and sprinkle some lemon juice onto it. And that's it. Your healthy and nutritious snack is ready. Don't go for those unhealthy snacking options such as momos, burgers, rolls, or even noodles. They are completely unhealthy, are difficult to digest, and do no good at all. So always try to avoid those. Once or twice a month is okay, but only considering your taste buds. But don't try to make it a habit. Whether you are the kind of person who works out in the morning or in the evenings, you should not really be missing out on those pre and post workout meals. Your pre and post workout meal should contain proteins, complex carbohydrates, and slight amount of fats also in it. So a simple option would be to go for 1 or 2 bananas, some egg whites, and your protein supplement. That will be more than enough for your pre and post workout meals. A general rule would be, for pre-workout meal, your carbohydrate intake should be slightly higher than your proteins, and your fat intake should be very less. Again, for your post-workout meal, your protein intake should be higher than your carbohydrates, and your fat intake again should be very less here also. Carbohydrates are needed so that they can get converted into glycogen stores, or actually energy stores, which can help you provide energy and fuel you through your workout sessions. That is the reason bananas are one of the best sources of carbohydrates for your pre and post-workout meals. Proteins are also equally important. They help you to avoid muscle breakdown during your workout session, and they also help in repairing the muscles after you have done working out. So they both are equally important. I will talk in more in some details about pre and post workout meals in some other video of mine also. With this, we have reached the end of our video. Always remember, your diet should be as such which you can follow through your entire life without having to go overboard. Your diet should be very much natural and should mostly be plant-based, such as fruits and vegetables. And you should always try to avoid those packaged foods such as trans fats, processed foods, or even sugars. This diet, accompanied with some physical activity and proper stress management, will always help the person in leading a very happy and contented life. So eat healthy and be healthy. We will see you again in our next video. Till then, thank you so much for watching.